everyone. My name is Tiara.
And I'm Martin, and this is sTill Collective. I'm actually going to pass around the wireframes for our site, just so you guys get a before and after. It just basically is the layout of our entire site, and kind of the thought process that goes into our whole process. Go ahead, T. So before we get into it, just an overview of what we're going to talk about: the who and the why of our sTill, and our work, the pros and cons, the actual product, the actual sTill Collective and the product, and then the next features that we want to have in the website, and the conclusion. Hold on a second, T. You see? Go back. Let's go back. Where's Joel's Slack? So the who, which is us. Who the heck are we anyway? Me and T are both, one of the things that we found very relatable and we had in common was that we're both dreamers, we're both creatives, and we're both young entrepreneurs. And now, thanks to all the help from everybody at 4Geeks, we're also web developers. Woo! Woo woo! Go ahead, T. So just to just to kind of break down who we are a little bit more, go ahead, T. Let them know why you kind of got into this.
Oh, okay. So one of the reasons why I got into coding is because I wanted to build my own website. And I think before I started 4Geeks, I was actually trying to build my own website, but I was having a hard time, and I was trying to pay someone to build me a website, and I'm like, no, I can learn this myself. So I enrolled in 4Geeks, and I already started my own business. I love fashion, so I started a clothing business already. So eventually I will be launching my clothing website soon. And yeah, that's the reason why I got into coding.
As for myself, I have a bachelor's in business administration. I've held a lot of random odd jobs, and amongst those jobs, I was an Uber driver and Lyft driver for a couple years. And I would meet people. I started driving in LA, and I would meet people in LA who were from Silicon Valley, and it seemed like everybody who was in tech was always really happy. More than that, I knew that it's an industry where people are really well paid. So thinking about all those things and all the things that I've achieved in my life, I was like, I want more stability. I want something that I can still create, but something that's applicable in everyday life, that's affecting people in a positive way. And so I knew for a couple years I wanted to get into programming, but for one reason or another it didn't work out. I had looked at other boot camps, and the timing wasn't right, or the finances weren't right. And then I was working as a manager at Walmart, and I found 4Geeks. I think I found them on Instagram. I got like a post about it. And I was like, And I know that they had started their cohorts on part-time. So I thought that was really good. I was like, man, I could still work and then do the part-time program. But then after talking to my family about it, I had saved up enough money that I could just do the full-time. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to dive all in. So I did. And I don't regret it. It's been really, really hard, but definitely worth it. So. The why, as far as why we would do a boot camp, I mean, you get structure, the networking aspects of it, and then we had the wrong presentation loaded, I don't know why, but knowing the current methodologies. So that's something that you could learn how to code on your own, but without the structure, without the support system, it's incredibly difficult. And it's such a broad field, such a broad scope, it has such a broad scope that it becomes really challenging to kind of navigate through it. Go ahead, T. And so like me and T were saying, just establishing a profession as opposed to just dead-end jobs, financial stability, our businesses. So hers is sTill, which is kind of like, it's like a springboard for what she's actually trying to do. But mine is the AMP life. So I want to do mentorship, motivational speaking, and kind of just perpetuate positive content. And I also wanted to learn how to make my own website, so that was another reason for doing the program. Go ahead, T. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, so kind of getting into it, the program was not what we expected. I think the instant gratification of how we function as a society kind of warps our sensibility to things. So the things that normally work for us, the universal norms that work for us, kind of escape us, and we think that everything's supposed to be instant, it's supposed to be happening really fast. And this is one of those things where, ironically enough, I always remember the quote Mark Zuckerberg said, go fast and break things. And when you go fast, you break a lot of things in coding. So taking it slow is actually, and breaking it down is actually one of the best insights that you can gain from this process. And I mean, it's literally just like tweaking a button, fixing the button, seeing if the button works, and then going on to the next button. And we just wanted to do things so fast and just get it all working right away, and it's not how it works. So kind of just getting as far as the program, just baby steps, learning about the different methodologies. It's all a very big commitment. So some of the pros that we had talked about were the camaraderie, our fellow classmates, just getting to know one another, bouncing ideas off each other, sharing each other's frustrations, being in the trenches. That's something that when you're going through that, man, like, people just don't know. Yeah, it's intense.
It was a family.
Yeah.
Like our crew.
Yeah.
We were a family. We stayed here, what, 9-10 hours with each other?
More than that in some cases.
Right. So we're so close.
Yeah. Yeah. But learning things as well, learning new things, things that are important. Super important. What else? What are some pros you got?
Pros.
Yeah.
Or cons.
Or cons.
No. Actually, they were actually evened out. They were evened out.
I think you said everything, all the pros of this program. I think most importantly, I think the pro of it all is just learning how to be patient through it all. Like every day, it was a new day. Like even though the day before was so hard, but just coming the next day, it was like you forget everything else that happened yesterday. So I kind of kept a level head throughout the whole program, even though at the end I kind of got aggravated a little bit. But you know, the next day, me and Kobe, it was a new day. So yeah.
We were still about it.
Still, very still during this process.
And the cons, the cons were basically just learning how to learn was probably the hardest part, because, as I said, you know, wanting to just go through it really fast, it's not easy. You're learning how to think like a computer.
Right.
And it's, when you look at an application or a website, there's so much that goes into it. I mean, even just thinking, as you can see from the wireframes, just thinking beyond just what's initially happening. It's not just a click, it's what's gonna happen after that click. How is that person gonna move to the page? What are the colors saying to them? You know, how easy is it for them? So thinking about all those things and then breaking down, obviously, like Joao and Hernan said, the front end and the back end. So there's a considerable amount of data that goes into it. And our site is pretty simple in that it doesn't have a lot of complexity like some of our classmates, but it's still seriously complex in itself. Go ahead, T. Go ahead, keep going. So you can stop there. So the basic gist of the sTill Collective is this. It's a digital. Actually, I got it written down. Hold on. No. I got it. Had a bit of an impromptu night the other night. So it's basically a marketplace for on-demand branding and business consulting services where clients and professionals meet. The idea is that when you think about the things that people think about, it's access, time, convenience. Those three things affect a lot of our decisions. And everybody's a brand. That's the fourth thing. Everybody wants to be their own brand now. So the more streamlined that process can be for up and coming businesses and professionals, it's better for them. And then there's the connection aspect of it. So most marketing agencies, there's probably like a long drawn out process. You got to do back and forth. So the idea for our product was, the product is the people, is the connection, the collective. You're getting exposure to a network of established professionals who can help you grow your business. Go ahead. You can go back to the methodologies. Okay. Yeah. So if you go back to the front, yeah. So T and I, it's funny because we're both visual people, and I remember saying to some of our classmates and our teachers that I felt like the groups were kind of disproportionately matched because all the back-end oriented people were on one team and all the front-end people were on the other. And we're like, yo, how the heck are we gonna figure this out? Like,
in the beginning, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how do I do that?
Yeah, yeah.
Me and Martin visual.
I just want to do like all the visual stuff, pick the colors, and yeah. And functional but pretty. So I knew that T, wanted to get more exposure to the front end stuff, the wireframing, the conceptualizing. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna take the loss for the team and do the hard work of the back end. But I was well served by my creativity in constructing the back end of it, because I was thinking about not just data, but I was thinking about people and the connections between all the information. And it's a bit daunting. Like, I remember sitting with Colby when he was at the board, and it was similar to Natalia's diagram with it was just maps and arrows going everywhere. And I'm just like, oh man, this is what goes on in the mind of a developer. It was insane. So T's gonna talk a little more about the front-end methodologies that she used.
Okay, so some of the technologies I used was HTML, CSS with Bootstrap, JavaScript, React, and wireframing. It was pretty easy. Oh, sorry. It was pretty easy, but then hard at first. But I think with the help of my teachers, Kobe and Paula, I was able to make it happen with the front end and understanding to use what I learned in a real life situation, or a real, how can I say it, like
Relatable.
Yeah, relatable.
Yeah. That was the other pro, I think, for both of us, is not just learning exercises, and certain functions and different, mathematical kind of stuff. It was actually seeing how the things we were learning
come to life, right, within our project. Yeah. Because it was like some things that I was like with JavaScript, like some of the functions I was using, I was like, oh, this is how it works, or the classes, and it was just a lot of, this was a real experience. Back end?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the back end, as I said, all that data. So MySQL and SQL Alchemy deal with the databases. So think about like when you log into a website, that data is stored somewhere. There's probably a table in some database that has all of your user information. Hopefully super secure. We worked on that as well. But there's all these other things. So like Python is the language that a lot of the databases are, the language that they're constructed with. Postman is an interface. So like the difference between probably the biggest difference between the front end and the back end is that when you're constructing stuff on the front end, you have a visual representation of what you're doing in code. Versus the back end, it's kind of like virtual, you know? It doesn't really, you don't have like something to look at. And Postman helps you actually have like an interface for it. So those were some of the back end technologies. Go ahead, T.
Okay.
And now the demo for the site. Everything you guys have been waiting for.
Right. So best for last, right? Okay. Where is it?
So go escape. Okay. And then you go back to the slide.
Right.
Yeah. And then just click. Go down.
Go down.
No, right there. That one. This
This
one.
one?
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Still. So the company is based off of 3 pillars: strategy, identity, and marketing. Where strategy is the business component of it, all of the concepts, organizational structure, analysis, corporate rebranding. Identity is the visual stuff, so logos, websites, that kind of stuff. And marketing is just the advertising, social media management, search engine optimization. So this is the basic landing page, the home page of our site. You want to go through portfolio, T?
Yeah. Okay, so here's the portfolio. So we have corporate rebranding,
Showcases the different products that we have.
website design. Oh. Okay, so yeah. So corporate rebranding, we have website design, and also social media management. So these are all the different services some of the services we have within our portfolio. Okay. Now we could go to our services. And these are the services that we offer within strategies, identity, and marketing. Do you want me
So
to?
there's some hefty price tags to those, but the idea is that you're getting access in real time to someone, or in reduced time, so that increases the turnover. You get actual products handled a lot faster. And those people are there with you, and you're getting paid. They're getting paid for their time, and you're paying them for a quality product. You're getting a quality product in return. And so we have individual services, so you can select individual services. We also have packages, which are more comprehensive. Yeah.
Okay. So,
If you can just go ahead and click, I guess, 1 or 2.
so we're gonna click the service.
So it adds it. You can add it to cart.
Add to the cart.
Okay.
We're gonna pick 2 services actually. Logo design. So cart.
Okay.
And now you will be able to go to the cart and see both of the services that you chose.
Mm-hmm.
Once you check, I'm sorry. Once you check out, have your checkout page, your billing information, your cart, payment. Once you put all your information in, then complete purchase. And then the thank you page. Also, we have an option for you to log in. So once you complete the checkout, you could also go back and view your order within the login.
Yeah. And so the idea is that you're not only getting access to a collective of professionals, you can also become part of the collective. So if you have a business that can offer those services to other people, other businesses, it's like advertising right then and there. And then, and so this would be the dashboard where our clients would be able to see their orders after they've purchased them. And the idea is to have more functionality for the dashboard, eventually have an admin side of it, so that the consultants that are helping our clients can have access to the same orders, add notes to them and whatnot. So we can go back to the presentation. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, increased interactivity with the dashboard. Eventually there'll be a video chat interface. Otherwise we'd have to use a third-party API where we have another website or another service that can, we can grab the information for and they can be the interface for us. And then like I said, the admin dashboard. And then Kobe had an inside joke of adding sTill to the website when you load on, and that'd be really funny. That'd be cool. So to conclude our presentation, we'd like to give a very special thanks, like everybody else, to 4Geeks Academy, Jonathan, Paolo, Colby, Alejandro, Jency, Danny, Marcelo, and even the Start Hub staff as well. We probably neglected to mention them as well. Super, super gracious. David Gutierrez, our families who were putting up with us while we were driving them crazy, I'm sure, stressing. And our fellow programmers, who, in the trenches with us through the whole process. So, any questions? Anybody? No comments? Anything? Okay. Thank you. Have a good night.